What's good, people, traders, and dedicated gold chasers? Welcome back to the Modern Day Trader channel with your boy Sam and myself, Marcy. And today we are doing one of our bi-weekly podcasts. And it's been a minute, guys. So another check-in. I think we're just back with another conversation, pod, whatever you want to call it. You can call it that. But welcome back to like the conversation with the boys, bro. We're at the mid-year point, Sam. We have about 5.5 months left in 2024, and then it's finally a wrap, bro. So we have a major
Yeah.
goal approaching. We have a hella big goal approaching where we're gonna purchase the 100K challenge. We're gonna go balls deep into it. We're gonna dive head first, and we're really gonna explore what that feels like trading 1.8 million rand. We're gonna really see what it is like trading it. And I wanted to do a check-in before we actually just speak about like how the first semester was and all of that, because we both had mini touch on our videos with like the second quarter reviews. But like before we go into that, I just wanted to check
Mm.
in. How are you feeling about the process? Where are you at with the process? And what's your way forward in the next month and a half to really prep for the start of that challenge?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I think this is a good point to touch base on that. And I think it just builds on to my weekly review last week, where it was a brain dump just of like how I was feeling end of the week. Um, you guys know there was like that anxiety, there's um, the bit of like fear, like leading up to the challenge, mainly because like I'm not executing at the moment. But it's weird because we obviously both have plans in terms of like what we need to get done between now and then. And I'm actually ahead of that plan in terms of like how I'm looking at um, going through the ICT content and implementing that and like back testing. Like it's rare that I'm actually ahead of that. I think mainly because I have more control over like my schedule and stuff now. And so when I say I'm going to do something, like, I actually have the time to do it and I do it. But and so while it's like I'm ahead of like the prep, um, there's obviously still like that concern in terms of like, will I be from like an execution perspective and like actually understanding the strategy? Because it feels like there's a lot more like learning than trading at the moment. And I think that was always kind of like setting this kind of goal where we put ourselves to a certain time frame and there's obviously a profit target and all of that, and that's like pressure that you hear like breaks a lot of traders like in their journey. Like it's like they just succumb to that pressure because it's like focusing too much on the outcome rather than like the process itself. And so I posed that question in my weekly review where I'm like, yes, there's that risk, but there's always obviously still like two options. Like, will I succumb to the pressure and like start over trading, over leveraging, and will I rush through this mentorship, and not focus on like the nuances of the strategy to it, or will I use like this pressure to kind of like fuel me to stay more focused, stay more disciplined, up it up a notch, because I feel like I can give more, especially on like my weekly schedule relative to what I'm doing now. And that's fine because I think I didn't want to overextend myself, like what kind of settling in, and now it feels like I'm in a good routine. And so I'm now at that point where I'm like, okay, we've got a month to go, and I can either just fuck out now and like I'm feeling like I'm afraid that I might not be ready, or it's like I can just knuckle down and trust the process almost, because that's really what it comes down to. Like I do believe in the strategy, and like I do believe that this is the plan like for me, in terms of time frames and executing. And like obviously I was hoping that I would be able to withdraw to fund the challenge. That was option one. There is still always option two, where we've got some savings to buy the challenge. I think either way the challenge will be bought, but I think this is a defining point where just got to trust the plan that I've set out for myself and trust the strategy, and almost do everything that I need to do, that I know I need to do in this month building up to it, to make sure that I'm as ready as possible with this time that I have. Make the backtesting sessions as valuable as possible, dive deep in them, be focused, stick to them. Don't worry so much about, at the end of the month, will I be able to get the return? Like, that's focusing on the wrong thing. I need to, now more than ever, I just need to stick to the process, because it's too late to chop and change, bro. There's no, hey, I'm going to go back to that other strategy because I don't know how this one's going to kind of work out. It's too late for all of that, bro. Like, it's actually like a very, like, just got to stick to the process and just like tough it out, bro. Because that's, I don't know, it feels like that's the only choice I kind of got. So yeah, like, where am I at? Like, how am I, like, how we doing, like, building up to the challenge? Like, I'm fucking nervous, bro. I won't lie. I won't lie. I think what we set out to do when we started, like, all of this, we're kind of doing it because there's that pressure that we said we would eventually.
Yeah.
So it's almost like, think of when you were in varsity and you're prepping for an exam. Say there's like 2 weeks left to the exam, but you haven't started no past papers, bro. You still pay course content. That's kind of what it feels like, because you feel like you should be through all the content, should have all your notes, it should be a rinse and repeat thing by now. And that's almost what it feels like, where it's like, I feel like I'm still like learning when I should actually just be trading and tweaking. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. High level. How are you doing, bro? How was like, in terms of between now and like when we start, where you add like mentally, I think psychologically, obviously with the strategy, I know there's like a degree of confidence there, but like it's a daunting challenge still, in one way or another. So how's the prep going for you?
Yeah. Side note, my boy. Side note on uni. Hey, bro. Me, I never got to past papers until the night before, bro. So I know what it is, bro. I was never that student, bro. Me, I know I was never that student. I never did that, bro. I know I'm a different person now. Like, I'm a better person. Shit, nigga, nah. Yeah. No, but okay. Just getting into the whole process. I think it's mad different, like, when it comes to like things that we actually want to do. So getting back into like where I'm at in the process, I think it's vastly different myself between uni and now. Obviously, with the process that I want to do, regards to trading, I just put the work in, bro, because I love this shit. So put the work in. With regards to like the back testing, I'm wrapping up on my annual back testing for the year of 2023. Jumping into second phase soon. I think midweek next week I'll be jumping into second phase. And the good thing is next week I have a couple of days off, so that's when I'm really gonna be like focused for like 5 hours a day. I don't want to obviously like work too much when I'm off, because the whole thing was of the dollar properties that I want to take off and rest. So I want it to be a rest time, yes. But like at the end of the day, I don't want to like have my work fall behind. So I am gonna put in like 5 hours for like 2 days. And then after that, I'll rest for the rest of the day. So, but like, with regards to the process, I think my biggest flaw as a trader, and I can say this confidently, my biggest flaw as a trader is trading when I shouldn't trade, or not being able to distinguish, not being able to distinguish like the difference between a really great trading day and just a good trading day, or subpar trading day. In that, like, your strategy is your strategy. When a trade represents itself, it shows up. Like, you need to take the trade, yes. But at the end of the day, I think that being able to ask questions like, where is price action now? Did you take a trade early in the week that was better and you're up? And do you really need this trade? Will this trade make a difference? If you lose, how are you going to feel about the trade? Like, all of those questions, just like asking yourself those questions to then place yourself. What I found is that you can only be objective before and after a trade. You can never be objective when you're in a trade. Like, all of your objectivity disappears the minute you're in a trade. Like, the minute you are in a trade, that thing is gone. So I'm just trying to like place majority of my objectivity prior to the trade and then ask myself, how would I feel after this trade? If it wins or if it loses, but mainly if it loses, like how would I feel? Because that's like most of the time where I am like looking at it saying, damn, I could have done this better, I could have done that better. You know what I mean? Especially with like entries and everything. Like I could have done this better. Maybe I shouldn't have taken this trade at all. You know what I mean? So I'm really working on that process and just like on the days where I'm not supposed to trade, not supposed to trade. And I feel like this week was a big thing for me because this week I didn't take no trades, none. And I
Yeah.
think the confidence in me not being able to take a trade is coming back from the data that I have for the whole of last year. Well, not the whole of last year, but like majority of last year, 75% of the time when it got to the week of the 15th through the 19th. Now, bear in mind that the 15th through the 19th, it could be the 15th through to 22, but it's that round about like the second to the third week of the month, there is a ton of like pound news, right? And that news in London session means I don't trade at all. But I'm getting used to like being able to see that, oh, every month this week, there's like 3, 4 like days of just bare news, you know what I mean? So now if I can see that, then it's like, oh no, I have the data to back me up. And I know that after this, I'm probably going to take like 3 trades next week. Then the week after, I get 5 trades. You know what I mean? But being able to like see it month on month, like, and have the data, like, oh, these are the days where you actually have your possible trading, like trading days where you have like possible chances to take a trade. Like that is making me feel more confident than ever. It's making me rely on my strategy. Whereas previously, I didn't have the numbers. All I knew is I shouldn't trade in news. You know what I mean? But now I'm kind of backed up by data in that, like, I know more or less like how much trades on average I'm going to take a month. And then I've also started like working on psychology in that, like, trying to tell myself I don't have to take every trade. Like, if I only had 10 trades for the month, what would those 10 trades be? What would my most profitable trades be from like the past 20 trades? If I just had to take 10 trades, what would those be? And how would I be able to like say, these are the 10 trades? Obviously, we don't know if we're going to be able to get to that 10 trades for the month, but like just being able to say, this is the 10 trades, or like 15 trades, 20 trades. Like, if I only had those trades for the rest of my life, would I take the trade that's in front of me? Do you know what I mean? Like, how confident are you about to say? Now, obviously, I have the one trade in my trading plan that I fucking love. Numbers are out of this world. The stats behind it is amazing, but I know it doesn't happen too often. So now it's like, yeah, like, but that's where it's like giving me more of a nudge, like, bro, you need to do this back test and you need to finish the back test. And like, it's adding more fire, like, bro, you need to finish this to get onto phase 2, then to then get onto phase 3 to actually have like physical data of like a long time and then be able to say like, okay, bro, like, if you're just going to trade this is how often you're going to get it. If you're going to trade all the other things, that's how often you're going to get trades. You're going to get more trades, it's going to satisfy your data, but you're going to get more often. Are you fine with that? Now I can start to ask myself those questions, and that's like making me excited, bro. Like, so I'm in a very nervous, very, I wouldn't say anxious, but very, very nervous, but like exciting place. Like, with like, bro, I want to finish this data to get these things together, bro. Because like, shit, it feels like things are coming together, and like I finally have like the data to back me to say like confidently, like, this is something that like it happens all the time. So now when somebody asks me, oh, how often does this happen? I can say fucking, hey, bro, 75% of the time. How do you know that? Let me take you to an Excel sheet, bro. Like, I can show you definitively that this thing happens 75% of the time. Oh, does that mean you're not going to lose? Of course I'm going to lose, bro. That's why we manage risk. You know what I mean? But like, yeah, bro, like that's kind of getting me to like a point in the process where I'm like more confident, more excited to go ahead and like come home from work and still work, or like before I get to work and I'm like at work that hour to put that extra hour in, you know what I mean? Like, let me finish this thing, bro, because like it's not just helping me like a month later, it's just helping me now. Like, it's giving me that like patience that I didn't have before. Like, I didn't have that patience before, but now I have it because like I can see consistently, like, okay, like this week happens every month. So I might as well learn how to deal with it now compared to like later on where I lost like hella guap, you know what I mean? So learn to deal with it now, learn that patience, learn to sit on your hands, And then when the real trades come, at least you didn't lose money because of like stupid mistakes that's not even in your plan. So yeah, bro, that's where I'm at in the whole process. Feel like I'm pretty excited. I'm nervous at the same time because at the end of the day, 1.8 million rand is not like, it's not the youngest, bro. It's almost two
Good
bucks,
child's play,
you know what
bro.
I mean?
I mean, the thing is, six-figure dollars, but it's seven figures, like when it comes to rands.
Exactly,
Um,
bro.
and sorry, just something you said earlier that I found was interesting. You said you most objective for a trade and after a trade, but during is where it's like you feel like that goes out the window. That's
Yeah.
interesting because for me, it's kind of different. I find that I'm most objective when I'm in a trade and then after a trade. And I realize more in hindsight that before a trade, I was very subjective a lot of the times. Like I struggle to be objective with a lot of positions. Now, I need to get to the root of that eventually when, I formulate like a concrete plan. It could be that, um, I'm not too clear on what I'm looking for, or, there's just a euphoria of wanting to be in positions. But like you're saying, it's not understanding like when your strategy or when a certain setup maybe performs better than others. And I think you hear that a lot, just what you're saying now more towards the end, where it's like not being in a position is a position as well. The capital you preserve when trading conditions aren't ideal is just as important as the profit you make when, the environment is ideal. But you only know that through knowing your strategy and knowing when your strategy responds. So that's a very dope place to sort of be at. And so now getting into like obviously this phase where you're feeling like very confident with like the results at least that you're seeing from the data, and like with each trade that now you're taking, because I remember there's that one where you're like there's an 87.5 let's break even or profit. Do you feel that will carry through when there's more capital on the line, or is that something you're worried about? It's like now the added pressure of now like the bigger accounts will lead you to maybe want to trade more or be less objective, at least before a position or when you're executing.
I personally don't think so. I think numbers are just numbers. Obviously, I'm speaking from a perspective that hasn't traded the same before. I know from prior results, it's never been about the account that I'm trading. It's never been about that. Like, it's more of like a habitual thing with me. Like, this is what I've done. This is always what I've done. Like, I'm going to continue doing it. I don't think I think my trading plan is so like this needs to happen for that to happen. That needs to happen for that to happen. And I think it was more so like the not trading points, like not trading when there's news, not trading when that or that happens. Like it was more so that. But obviously you can still get away with saying like, oh, I followed the plan, but then in the plan it said don't trade when it's this. You know what I mean? You followed the plan, like technically. Yes, you had a breakout, you had your bias, you had everything. And you followed the plan because it's very like, hey, bro, this thing happens, you do that. That thing happens, you do that. That thing happens, you do that. So, but like it's more of like when you don't trade, like, hey, bro, you're not supposed to do that. Not supposed to trade in the first half an hour. You're not supposed to do that. You know what I mean? So, but I think from my side, I don't think like personally, the the number on the screens and the change anything. I think it's just a matter of like, the thing that I am quite anxious about is the risk percentage. And I think it's more so being able to have enough data behind me to physically say, I can this amount and be fine with it. And then ask myself like mentally, because at the same time, like at the end of the day, I'm not going to act like, I didn't have to save to buy this account, or I didn't have to sacrifice certain things for this account. And that can have a mental like effect on, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I don't want it to be like where I'm risking 0.5 because I'm just risking 0.5. So I'm not being like risky. You know what I mean? Now it's going to take me a year to pass the challenge. But then in reality, I should be risking 1% because that's the numbers there. You know what I mean? So I think like that's the part of me that like is a bit nervous because of like still needing to put all of the steps together with like a bigger data set. And that's why like expanded my data set. Like the average data set that I wanted was like a year and a half before I can be able to make decisions, not just based on like the 87.5% is based on previous quarter. Like, like 100%, but like for me to be able to definitively say like, hey bro, I have a 87.5% chance of winning with this thing, I want it to be a bigger data set so that I'm comfortable. Now I'm just saying, hey bro, last quarter it was 87.5%, but then last year, third quarter, when we actually going into third and fourth quarter, it was like a 60%. Now this 2% there, and I have a 40% chance of losing, bro. You know what I mean? Like, so now it's like I just want to be in a place where, like, obviously, like, we trading based on history, and that doesn't mean that like your current like result is going to like really like do what history done, and understand that. But being able to have like a bigger data set to fall back on for me is like the major thing. Like being able to have that confidence in that. But at the end of the day, to answer your question, I don't think it's gonna affect my trading. I don't think I'm going to be able to like say, oh bro, like my biggest thing that I'm working on is my habits now of like not being able to come back and say, I took that trade when I'm not supposed to. Because I don't think like it's a matter of an account size for me. I think it's just a matter of like trading. Like to me, it's like, bro, if I set the rule of like 1% until I'm down 5%, I'm gonna follow that thing regardless, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I think I'll follow the rules to like a point where it's like either I'll pass the challenge or I'll fail the challenge. And I don't think like, I think that's the good thing about me. But then like, yeah, it's just like, bro, being able to make changes on the fly, that's not me really. Like, I can't make the changes on the fly. So I'd rather have a bigger data set before I get there, so then I can know, like, over the past X amount of time, like year and a half, this is how much I want for this setup. This is like what my risk needs to be in order to account for like the number of losses that I have on my biggest losing streak, the number of wins that I have on my biggest win streak, all of those things, you know what I mean? So for me personally, it's not about like the number on the screen. How about you, bro? How are you feeling about like, obviously the same question that you asked me, and like figures, like that 6 figures on the screen, like 100K is like, it's major, like it's big, bro. So how are you feeling about that, bro?
Yeah, bro. I've thought of it, and I think similarly to you, bro. I say instinctively, it's not something that's gonna affect me, because at the end of the day, you trade the strategy. You don't trade the numbers on the screen. It's not about how big the account is. There might be an element of euphoria that I don't know how I'll deal with yet, because I've never been in that position when you are profitable with a bigger account. You're seeing bigger numbers in terms of the profit that you're making. Obviously, risk is always capped at a certain percentage. But when it comes to like, I think with that question, I'm more looking at like the risk side of things. Like, I feel like I don't risk enough. And that's something that I'm kind of looking at with this challenge. That's a question that's kind of still hanging over my head. And I'm hoping to find more clarity like over this last month in terms of like how much more aggressive can I be in my approach without compromising the account, but also without putting myself in a position where I'm going to become too euphoric with the gains that I see, that it'll make me subjective to, taking bigger losses on the account. Because I think I'm just too conservative by nature. I don't know if it's because obviously in like, I don't know, there's like an element of like retail, but also like institutional investing that like I kind of incorporate. And on the institutional side, like even like a 3% down in a week is like a lot, bro. Like that's like terrible. But like for us, if we like 3 hour down in the week, like it's not that much, because I have one trade, you can like bring that back kind of thing. So I've always felt like I'm a bit too conservative, and that's probably one thing I'm looking at. So from the perspective of like, am I worried about the size of the accounts? Maybe. I don't know. I don't think so yet, but I think it's something that I should manage as and when like we start the challenge. But I'm just more curious with my risk and I know I want to up my risk and be more aggressive, but I also don't want to put myself in a position where I'm now being too aggressive and my risk management leads me to, losing the challenge rather than, I don't know what else it could be. It's either the strategy doesn't work or, you just fuck out on your risk. And so I think it's a bit hard also to answer my question right now because I don't have a lot of or any data really with like this current strategy that I'm building in terms of what like obviously I do have previous history, but like what my maximum lose streak is, and that can normally determine like the drawdown over a certain period, and then I can use that to almost tweak my risk to see, okay, like what kind of risk do I need to take to ensure that I won't drop below a certain percentage based on the max lose streak and like how much I could potentially lose like in one run before I am profitable again. And so with this strategy, I don't have that much data to inform that, but I will obviously use my previous data to look at that. And I think just inform that decision in terms of like, okay, how much am I winning consecutively? How much am I losing consecutively? And then how can I use that information to at least have a plan in terms of how I'm going to go about this risk. But I think also the data that I'm going to compile in this month will contribute to that. So yeah, I think I'm enjoying the prep though. That's, I think, the I don't want to say conundrum or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think we similar in that position, even though we at like different points of like this journey, I think it still remains like you can work a whole day, and I know you like resonate with this. You work a whole day, it can be a brutal day, but when you get home, you still got energy to put in that extra like 2-3 hours in the back testing. And I'm getting good data from the back testing. And I think that's what's almost like making me see that like this time is like, it's really about sticking to the process, because it's not like what I'm learning in my backtesting sessions and the data that I'm extracting from those sessions and from like what I'm still learning in the strategy isn't making sense. Can see it's heading towards a direction that, is going to be profitable, but it's almost like but I've only got 1 month to get to that stage. So, and then you start to worry about, will that 1 month be enough? But it's like at the end of the day, how am I feeling in those sessions, bro? What am I getting from like what I'm doing? Is it positive? And all I can say, it is positive. But then it doesn't matter. I'm like, fuck, bro, just hold the vision, trust the process, bro.
Exactly, bro. I think it's all about building that confidence, and I feel like the backtesting right now is, bro. I just have one quick question, Sam, in one sentence, bro. I think we can always speak about the risk and everything on the challenge, but how do you feel? But I don't think the numbers will affect me as much in the challenge and the verification, to be honest. I think personally, to me, the numbers and things will affect me once that first withdrawal comes in, and I actually see that I'll just withdraw 50K. Then it will come real, then it will become real to me. How do you think it will affect you, bro? Because I don't think that it's all fun and games until you make that first withdrawal and like you see a 50,000 or 100,000 rand pop up, and now you're like, fuck, this is real. Like I could make 100 to 200K every month if I would like follow these steps. And now you're faced with the challenge of, bro, do I keep this risk at 1% or do I drop it? Because now I want to hold on to this account because I want to keep this stream of income as long as possible, bro. You know what I mean? Like, so how do you think, how would you face that challenge? Obviously, we're not within the challenge as yet, but like when it gets to withdrawing and like the money becomes real and hits your account, then like, what's the process? Like, is it keeping it the same? Are you going to drop like risk? Are you going to like, what do you think? Obviously, right now, we don't know what it's going to be, but like at the current moment in your mind, what does it look like, bro, to you?
Yeah. I know you said one sentence, but
one
word, and then I'll maybe explain it. And that's valid.
Yeah, let's go.
That's what that'll be for me, because I'm in this phase now where I'm doing what I'm doing. because things wasn't working, bro. And so we're working towards that withdrawal. That's the consistency. And when that withdrawal hits, in my mind, I've already been thinking about what am I going to do when that withdrawal hits? What frame am I going to be in? What am I budgeting for now? Like, it's so much more than just like the lifestyle and all of that. There's family, bro, that's behind these withdrawals. There's a whole lot of things in life. So that withdrawal will be validation that the process is working, bro. I don't think, and I won't change my risk or my profit targets unless the data tells me that I need to. Because at the end of the day, I only got there because of my back testing, of my forward testing, of decisions I was making from an informed perspective. So that's a long story short from my end, bro. It'll be major validation. And at the end of the day, it's already what I'm telling myself, like up here, bro, like in my mind. And it will just be that materialized. So what about you, bro? What are we saying, bro, when that $3,000 withdrawal comes through, bro?
Like, personally, to me, it would just be like, damn, it'll be worth it, bro. Like, damn, sit back, relax. Fuck it, I haven't lit the chair in a minute. But that day, bro, that day, I'm not going to go to the alcohol. I'm not going to do anything. All I want to be is like fucking Zen Master Marcy, bro. I want to sit back and relax, have a J, have a young whiskey, guy, and then simmer. And just take it in like, damn, bro, shit, you know what I mean? Like, shit, and then I do YouTube and say, fuck it, boys, fuck, like, jeez, bro. I love my first reactions to things, bro. I love my first reactions, and it's like, I feel like it's so real, and it's so like, bro, like, I love expressing like like the excitement and everything, bro, and like just being able to like come and say like, it's like, fucking go, mate. Like, so like, hey, bro, like that to me is just like, yeah. And then I think, as you mentioned, I think Sam killed it with regards to like just risking the same. Like, your plan that got you to pass, got you through the verification, got you to your first point of like withdrawal should be the same plan that you have with regards to risk and continue, and just keeping that same psychology. Now, whether psychology changes or not, we can't really answer that at this current moment. Whether like things turn around with regards to a mental shift or a paradigm shift, we don't know, because like it's gonna be the biggest amount that I would have ever traded in my life. So I can't answer that at the current moment. But what I can say is that I think when you do get to that point, whatever worked for you, just hold on to it. Like, just keep it going, bro. So yeah, Sam, do you have any last thoughts?
No last thoughts from me, bro. Shout out for that question. I think it really got me feeling what I would feel when that comes. And that's just motivation to just keep it going, bro, and just
100%.
hold that vision, trust this process.
100%, guys. So as I mentioned, hold the vision, trust the process, create the emotion that you need, that you're going to feel at the end, so that emotion can keep you going in the process of work with regards to anything that you're doing in life. And so, from the boys at the Modern Day Trader, myself and Sam, have a wonderful week further. Have a fucking wonderful month. Have a great end to the year. And from your boys, peace out, man.